Good afternoon. My name is Neil Sly from Productive. With the latest announcement of iOS 14.8, and that being primarily a security fix for a very urgent issue that affects both potentially personal and corporate data and the ability for outside entities to access that data. It's very important for everyone in your organization that is utilizing an iOS-based device to be upgraded to iOS 14.8. And so I thought that with this latest news, it would be a great opportunity to discuss and really show off one of the features of Microsoft Intune, which is the Microsoft mobile device management tool that's cloud-based. And that is something called the compliance policies. Now, compliance policies don't actually make any impact on the devices that they're applied to. They simply do just that. They ensure compliance. And so one of the things that we can use compliance policies for, in this particular case, is just for auditing and monitoring purposes. And so you can also utilize them in conditional access policies as well. But in this particular case, whatever you do with it, I do think it's a really nice feature to have to, again, get information about your devices. So we're going to start in endpoint.microsoft.com, and we're looking to, again, create a Intune Device Compliance Policy. So we're going to click over here on Devices on the left-hand side underneath Favorites, and then over here underneath Policies, we're going to see Compliance Policies. So we'll go ahead and create a policy. We need to select the platform. Again, I mentioned this is an iOS issue, so we'll create a iOS/iPad OS policy. I'm just going to name it something basic, iOS 14.8 compliance policy. And what we're looking for here in compliance settings is device properties. And we have a variety of options, minimum and maximum OS version. We also have minimum and maximum OS build version. Now, immediately you might think, okay, I'm going to go in here and type in 14.8, but you'll notice that you can't type in anything. That's just because that's the major version here. If we type in 14.8, it won't even accept a decimal point. So what we really want is the build version. That would be something with a decimal point in it, right? So if we go in here and we type in 14.8, you'll notice that that is actually not a valid build version format. Apple does their build versions a little differently than kind of even how they publicize them. So I actually need the build version. So for this particular issue, 14.8, the build version is 18H17. That's 18 capital H17. So that's the minimum OS build version that we will require. Anything under that will be out of compliance. So basically we're saying anything other than 14.8 below that is going to be out of compliance, and that's what we want. We want everybody to be at least at 14.8. So we'll click Next. Actions for noncompliance. There's a lot of different options in here. I'll just keep this video short and simple and say that we're going to mark our device non-compliant immediately, and you can change that to make it a couple of days afterwards. You can send an email to the user. You can send a push notification to the user. All sorts of things that you can do. We're just going to make this simple here. Assignments. In my fictitious perfect world, all of the users in my organization utilize iOS, so I don't need to worry about any of this. That's probably not the case in your organization, especially if it is a BYOD-based solution. And so I would recommend in that particular case that you have device groups set up, and then you just apply that to those device groups. So we'll just click Next. We can review all of these items. Again, we are creating the iOS 14.8 compliance policy. We're scoping it to iOS/iPad OS, and the only compliance setting we have is that the minimum OS build version is 18H17, and we've just scoped it to all users here. We'll click Create, and again, that policy will create. And then I don't have anything enrolled in this environment, but once we do enroll devices, you'll begin to see these numbers come up, and you'll be able to see how many folks have upgraded to 14.8, and more importantly, you'll be able to see which folks have not updated to 14.8, and you can probably contact them separately and guide them through that process of making sure that their devices are up to date.